Faster than writing to a letter forum, more thoughtful than angry clickbait, able to discuss the world's first superhero and his cousin in comics, film, TV, and more. It's the Supermaniacs. I'm Fatheree. This is Mike. Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well today, mostly because there's this, and we got some fun Superman Man of Tomorrow news, or sort of news, I guess.
Yeah, so in addition to talking about Kara Zor-El's 2004 origin story from the comics, from the Batman, or no, it was Superman Batman issues number 7 through 13, I believe. And the animated movie that adapts that story, Superman Batman Apocalypse. But yeah, not only are we going to talk about that, but also we got a first official look at what appears to be Lex's power suit in Man of Tomorrow.
It was beautiful. It made me so happy.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise.
With tears in my eyes.
Well, you know, I kind of felt sorry for them when they made the announcement about, hey, we're doing a sequel to Superman, although it's questionably not, like, it's not Superman 2, but it's like a continuation of that movie with the same characters.
Yeah, it was very interesting that he made sure to tell you, this isn't Superman 2, this is Man of Tomorrow. And I'm like, what does that mean to overall? But knowing a little bit more, okay, we might have some idea.
But they had nothing to show us other than like some comic, which was like a good idea for like James Gunn or whoever at DC Studios thought of that. Like, we don't have anything official to show anyone, but like, hey, we have a bunch of comic book artists. Just get them to like draw Superman and Lex.
Let's get 3 of them to draw a Superman and a Lex in a power suit, and make blows everyone's mind, because seeing a power suit was like, well, what does that mean? Does that mean was that an Easter egg, or are you actually going to do it? Now we know he's actually going to do it. Yeah.
And the fact that we saw like 3 different designs also indicated like, okay, they're pretty early in the work on this movie. They might have a script, but they haven't figured out the final look of things. But
yeah, and then there were the action figures that looked closer to the Raptor armors, just painted green. So this makes me happy. Like I've seen some people have some issues here and there, but that's because, you know, everybody wants the very like old school one that has the little thing in the center and stuff. But this still looks great to me. I think it looks fantastic. The fact that he even has one makes me happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big green and purple mech suit. It's kind of all I was asking for, but it does to me like it is very recognizable as the Lex Luthor suit. They put this kind of Mysterio dome over his head, which is something like they kind of do sometimes in the comics and animation. You know, give him like a kind of an astronaut space helmet kind of glass dome, but it has like the green metallic collars that come up on like the left and right side. You know, he normally has these some type of like green armor on like the sides of his head. Like, it's clearly Lex's suit.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous suit. Like, I've been wanting that for ages, and the very fact it exists just makes me happy. And we all should be happy about that. Like, we live in a world where this power suit exists. You know, it's like, it's magic. It's such a magical thing. And yeah, Olivia Miller brings up exactly what I mean, which is that the power suit that Lex has in the animated universe is closer to the one that people think about, which is a very old Silver Age, a very Silver Age look, which is one of my favorites of his looks.
Yeah, well, speaking of the Superman Batman comics, this the first run by Jeph Loeb back in the day, not only did it reintroduce Supergirl, or like the actual Kara Zor-El from Krypton. That was the name of the story in the comics. The Supergirl from Krypton. But in the storyline right before that, which the animated movie is called Public Enemies, but I think like the comic story was called The World's Finest.
No, I think it was still called Public Enemies.
It was also Public Enemies.
If I recall, it was still called Public Enemies, but the name of the book itself was just Superman Batman.
But that gave us the first modern Lex power suit in
that
the, like,
thing
post-crisis.
Was gigantic, if you remember. Did you ever see the action figure for it?
I'm sure, but yeah, like...
It was so big, the arms couldn't go up and down. It was one of those things where it was like, it goes side to side like that or whatever, like really awkwardly. I think it was I almost bought it. I wanted it because it was so cool, but then I realized it looks dumb as hell when you try to move it because it was not designed for articulation in mind. It was one of the first figures that I ever saw that was designed to just be there. You know what I mean? It was just like horrendously hilarious.
Yeah, no articulation, but like it'll this will be there on the shelf, but it's not going to be any form of articulation.
Yeah, I think I found it on eBay, and yeah, it's hilarious. Oh wait, no, there it is. I found it. No, yeah, it is on eBay, but it's clear that it wasn't designed for movement in mind, because he is fun looking, but he is not. He does not look like he would be usable. He's got the most psychotic look on his face, too. On it as well.
But I guess that was kind of part of the... I don't know, maybe even like the mission statement of Jeph Loeb writing Superman, Batman back
I just sent it to the chat that we have on,
right,
not on this side, but I want you to see what this thing looks like.
Yeah. Oh my god, that is ugly as hell.
Yeah, it was not designed for form-fitting. And I kind of still want it. Because, yeah, his arms don't move. It's like... It looks ridiculous.
So, if anyone is curious, if you're watching the video format of this, I have the action figure from the Jeph Loeb, Ed McGuinness, Superman, Batman, Public Enemies, and yeah, it looks like if you're not happy with the suit we're getting in Man of Tomorrow, just keep in mind, Gunn could have done a whole lot worse.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, but the fact that we have one at all just should make everyone happy.
Yeah,
and I hope that one day we too will have an action figure that's ugly of that one that we can we can have next to our figures.
But I'll say this. I have like a crazy theory about this Man of Tomorrow movie. About like the reason why it's not Superman 2. I think that this movie, I'm not even saying like I want this to happen, I'm just saying this is a possibility. But this movie might sideline Superman, like the whole movie, and Lex has to be the hero to save Earth from Brainiac. And
I can see Lex trying to call himself the Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can see that being a thing. Like I want Lex to be... I would love for Lex to be the actual hero of that story.
What if when we get a trailer for this, it's actually called Lex Luthor, Man of Tomorrow?
I'd love that. I'd love that so quickly. That would be like, yes, that's what this movie should be, a Lex Luthor film. And it should only be Lex on the rest of everything from then on. Like that single Superman shows up in it.
It should also come with the announcement of like, and then Superman 2 coming 2027 or, or 2028, whenever the year after this next movie will be.
Yeah, I can't wait to see whatever trailers we get. Because now that we've seen that they're very... Because according to Frank Grillo, I think he finished his scenes, as far as I know. I don't know if there's going to be... I don't know if he's confirmed if they're done, but but the fact that James Gunn shared that image is like... I think he said live from the set, so I think that means that they're knee-deep in it. So I'm very excited to see where that goes. I want to see what its action figure looks like. I want to see if it's got a 2-pack with a tiny Superman and a large power suit. Like I want all the things when it comes to that suit. I'm gonna get that DC, not Legends, the McFarlane ones. I think, do they have a name to them, or they're just Multiverse? They're called Multiverse.
Yeah, Multiverse.
So I literally have that one hanging next to me, so I was able to turn and look at it. So I'm very excited to see where that goes, and I am excited to see if it does involve Lex being the Man of Tomorrow. Now that I think about it, because that would be easily one of the funniest things that you could possibly do with that idea. I'm also curious how it ties into how Peacemaker season 2 ended. So
I'm guessing that this is going to be kind of like something like he builds while he's working for Argus, and it'll be just kind of like the suit that he wears when he's doing like almost kind of like Suicide Squad type work. Like he's the villain incarcerated who is doing these missions for the government.
yeah, that's yeah. Like what role in the government does he have with everything? Do they just let him walk around, or does he get to be able to make all these things? I really can't wait to find out. I'm curious if Supergirl will even mention any of it at the end of their movie.
Yeah, it would be nice if we get some kind of follow up to the Salvation Run stuff or the Lex stuff, or just any kind of acknowledgement to what's going on there in Supergirl. Uh, but I'm ready to talk about some Jeph Loeb, Michael Turner, a little, I guess, Bruce Timm. We can throw him in the mix, but a lot of Supergirl, along with Batman and Superman.
So, if for people who don't know, there's two omnibuses for the original Superman Batman run, and they're huge, and they're thick boys. And I've bookmarked how much of that story is just this omnibus, and it's this tiny little guy right here, right between these two. This little small gap is the entirety of that story. That's how much Superman Batman they made before the New 52 struck them down. But yeah, so the comic's fascinating. As we've mentioned, Kara Zor-El, the real Kara Zor-El, was missing in action for 20-something years. Until one day, Jeph Loeb and his insanity decided, what if we brought them back in and sexualized them as much as humanly possible? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. They don't do that as much in here than I remember. But so what happens is that, as was mentioned earlier, this is post Superman Batman Public Enemies. If you guys don't know what story that is, Superman finds out about a giant meteor of kryptonite coming at the planet Earth. He is framed for some stuff that happens to Metallo, and is basically told that the president of the United States wants him dead or alive, basically, or dead mostly. But thanks to the help of the heroes and with a mixture of Captain Atom, Toyman, and a few other things, Superman is able to defeat Lex Luthor. Lex is impeached, disappears, and the meteor is destroyed, and everybody's saved. But the aftermath is that there's kryptonite everywhere, and the story opens with Batman doing some cleanup because they're trying to get the larger chunks out of the world so far. This is before Search for Kryptonite 2 as well. Or just Kryptonite, I think, is the full title of the trade that they had. And so it starts off in Gotham. We're also going to talk about the movie, by the way, whenever we get to that as well. Or did you want to talk about them both simultaneously?
I think we can kind of just go through the plot and talk about both at the same time, because they follow the same plot.
They kind of do. The difference is that right away there's one giant difference, which is that right away, instead of Batman, because Batman as he's doing this cleanup, he's talking to Clark, and he finds the ship, and he finds a ship underwater that's been there, according to Batman, for like a week or two. Whereas in the movie version, it crash lands there, and then he goes to check on this without ever talking to Superman at any point.
Mm.
And so I thought that was a very interesting, a weird distinction to change.
Yeah, the movie also has like a little bit of a recap, I guess, of the events of the first movie. If just to say, there's like a news announcer that you hear on the, I guess it's on the radio, but you just hear him say like, well, we're not going to talk about the recent impeachment or indictment or whatever of President Luthor. So basically saying like, oh, all that stuff about public enemies that you thought you might need to know about before going into this movie, you don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, the movie tries to do some of that stuff because the thing about the Superman Batman series, for you guys don't know, is there's a lot of internal monologuing. There's tons of it.
Because you get like two different versions of everything. You hear Superman's reaction, and then you hear Batman's reaction. And Loeb has a lot of fun being like, one character will think one thing, and then he'll have the other character think like the total opposite thing.
It's really fun, and so the narration is what explains Superman, Batman, public enemies. So they needed a way of doing it in the movie real quick. But from here on, it's very similar. Batman walks into, finds this thing. He's trying to like decrypt it, but Kara ends up turns out she had escaped the ship at some point and has now fallen into the bat boat, I guess, and has launched it because she doesn't know what she's doing. She's moved it and just crashes it like as hard as fucking possible. It's like crazy how dangerous she is for right off the bat, but more in the sense that she's just flailing about is the best way of putting it, because she doesn't fully know what to do. The comic's really fun because it shows the Kryptonese symbols. And here's another fun fact about these symbols is that I don't know if apparently this book doesn't have it, but if you have the original trade for Supergirl, it has a Rosetta Stone basically for the Kryptonian language. So you could technically translate everything she says through the entire comic. There's only one page you can technically find because that trade has that as an example, which we'll talk about later on. But she's like, I remember when I was younger, I actually did take the time to translate it. But it's mostly her just being like, where am I? What's going on? What is this place? That sort of thing.
It's all non-essential dialogue, but yeah, it was fun. It was a fun little comic book thing to do. I had the hardcover. They had like these nice hardcovers for these first two stories of Superman, Batman.
Yeah, I used to have the Public Enemies one. They were great. They were gorgeous hardcovers. If you guys ever get a chance and you don't want to just collect them without the omnibuses, I highly recommend those because of the extras they have. I know that some of those extras are in here, but you have to go like really far in the back to find them. But the art on this, I forgot how gorgeous the art for this was.
It was way better than I remembered. And sometimes I make fun of Michael. I'm sorry, I make fun of Michael Turner because like he draws like he's known for drawing sexy women, but he has like the one body type that he just always just copy paste the same body with like the long skinny midsection. But yeah, this is some of his best work, honestly. He was normally an indie guy. He did Witchblade and Fathom, right? But this was like one of his rare, Marvel, DC. Here's a big comic that a lot of people are going to read, and it's honestly some of the best work I've ever seen from him.
It's wonderful. Everybody looks really cool. The Witchblade stuff is really cool, or like Witchblade type, like proportions to monsters and stuff is really cool.
Or like
not so much to Kara directly, but
but like his Batman, when you see like scuba gear Batman, who is underwater on kryptonite cleanup duty, and then when like he comes out of the water, he looks very monstrous and very cool.
Yeah, it's funny. He looks like it's such a cool little outfit that he's got on with that design. But I'm going to mention some stuff that was different in the movie right away. One is that when Kara first shows up, she is in the nude. She doesn't have any clothes on because for some reason, I don't know why she was in the nude in the ship. Like, did Zor-El just not give her anything? Was she in the shower when Krypton was exploding? And he's like, just get in the ship. I don't have time to give you clothes. Fuck it. Or did they disintegrate? I don't know. There was never really an explanation for that. But she walks up to this group of people. The movie makes the men disgusting immediately. The movie makes the men be like, hey, "Hey there, beautiful. I want to fuck you," is basically what the guy says immediately within 10
Yeah.
seconds. And you're like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And then but in the book it's actually more than I expected, which is that he's the guy says hello and the other guy's like, "Oh, she's obviously lost, bro." And he's just like, "Okay, yeah, I'll be happy to take her home." And she starts speaking Kryptonese, and then a lot of the dialogue's the same from there, which is that it's Swedish, but the guy isn't really a creep so much as he's just kind of a dude, bro, is what it sounds like. And she breaks his fingers on accident because she reaches for his hands. And so when she does it here, and the guy says, "Hey, Gus might have been a jerk, but you shouldn't have," that's a normal reaction. Whereas in the movie version, where he just looks at a teenager and clearly wants to sleep with them, and then he gets his fucking arm broken, and then the guy says, "Hey, Gus might be a jerk." That's not Gus being a jerk.
Yeah, it's funny because like I think these guys are they like robbing the place? They're like robbing like these crates in an alley, and it's in Gotham City. So I don't know if they're supposed to be working back here or if they're doing crime, which is probably a lot of people's job in Gotham City, you know. But yeah, like in the movie, it's like no, we have to make these guys as big of creeps as the guys Kara first runs into in the live action movie from 1984. It's basically the same.
Yeah,
The
it's the
truck
same
driver
basic scene.
molesters. It's like the same attitude.
Yeah, I actually realize. You know, it made me realize. I don't even know if they're workers or thieves in this story or this specific story, because they're all wearing different outfits. They're not like
Yeah.
dressed like dock workers. Because the movie makes them look like they're dock workers because they have aprons and shit and stuff to make it seem that they're working. And she just she gets a trench coat from one of the guys and runs off. So, and because I'm mentioning the movie differences. For instance, when she gets hit by a car, the guy who hits her with the car in the movie is a little nicer, where the guy in the book is like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And then she first uses heat vision on a because her powers are all coming in as she's freaking out. Because she accidentally breaks the guy's finger. She bends the hook to some guy's thing, or this hook that he had, and then she gets hit by a car that does nothing to her. Of course, she heat visions a stoplight. Whereas the movie version, the first time she shoots heat vision is straight up a cop, which is hilarious because the first time Kara meets a cop, her first instinct is to burn them alive.
Yeah, it's like in the movie, she does heat vision after she looks at the red sirens on top of police cars, but in the comic, she sees a red light on the stoplight, and then she starts shooting red beams out of her eyes as like her reaction to it.
Yeah, and she's like freaking out. She doesn't know what's happening. She does eventually shoot heat vision at a cop car, and then she accidentally flies. And this happens in the movie as well. She's running away and she accidentally flies. The movie does a fun job at doing reactions more, because when she first starts flying in the movie, the cops just sort of stare agape.
Yeah.
And then they decide to shoot her, which is hilarious.
The movie does a good job of capturing a lot of the Michael Turner visuals that they put in this story of like
Yeah, guys, back in the day, the DC animated universe used to animate it based on what the story used to look like, not based on random generic bullshit. Those were the days, right? Those were fucking fun.
But yeah, they definitely went hard for the McGinnis style and Public Enemies, and then when they go to Apocalypse, they go just as hard into the Michael Turner. So it might be a little jarring for people who don't follow the comics, and they're just like watching those, and they're like what the hell? Is this really a sequel? It looks quite different, but
There are two distinct memes that happen from this comic, by the way, and I'll point them out when they happen. But yeah, so she freaks out. Eventually, she runs into Batman.
yeah.
Because Batman's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
But it's a cool look of this like the scared girl wearing the trench coat going up this like gothic Gotham City tower and then coming face to face with Batman on top of it.
Yeah, I remember translating part of this, and she's just basically like, "Get away from me," is basically what she says.
Well, he looks scary as hell, like especially like the way that Michael Turner draws him with. I love like the long pointed ears and the crazy cape. He had to have had a run on Spawn at some point, right? Did Michael Turner worked
bet.
on Spawn? Like,
I guarantee you he did. And
Yeah.
he did the darkness and everything if he didn't. But his Batman actually reminds me of Justice League Unlimited Batman a lot of the times because of the long pointed ears and the darker color scheme.
And he kind of has like that same rapport with Clark that and I guess after watching this movie with hearing Kevin Conroy, uh, it really seems like that JLU era Batman.
Yeah, it's funny because in the movie, Kara does attack Batman. She accidentally slams him against the wall. But in the comic book, she just flies away and slams into the dirigible in accident. Um,
Yeah. There's one of these Gotham blimps floating around, and
like
then
you
we
feel
get
more bad for comic Kara because of the fact that she's not even trying to do anything. She's just moving around and
yeah.
flailing about.
She's like,
Whereas,
shit, I can fly.
yeah, whereas movie version, she does assault Batman at some point. She does like slam him into the thing. Like she does accidentally, assault the other guy. But with Batman, she legit like pushes the man as hard as she can originally. And then there's this like awesome shot with I know the movie goes out of its way to explain, hey, by the way, every dirigible is an automated thing. You don't have to worry about any people being in it. So her slamming into it, it's the same. It's still an automated one here. But Superman shows up to save the day because in the comic version, he's been talking to Bruce this entire time, and Bruce has been keeping him in the dark because Clark isn't allowed to leave the Watchtower because of all the kryptonite that's currently about. That they're just trying to get rid of the large amounts of them.
Right, because in the last story, Public Enemies, you mentioned the meteor that came to Earth and deposited all the kryptonite. The other thing I was going to add about that real quick is there did seem to be kind of this intention from Jeph Loeb on Superman Batman to return things a bit more to the DC that he grew up with, the DC of the Silver Age. So not only are we getting like an actual Supergirl who's the Supergirl from Krypton and not a weird shape-changing alien blob creature, but we're also getting the multicolored kryptonite, where different kryptonites have a different effect. That was something that the comics had moved away from post-Crisis, and here we were going like really hard back to it.
Yeah, because the red kryptonite was the only other color at this point in this continuity because of the Tower of Babel.
Mm-hmm.
It already happened by this point, but they made it like a man-made thing where it was like Bruce making a different version of kryptonite. But and then there's a story later down the line that does make it closer to what's going on. And so eventually Clark saves the day. Movie-wise, he just saves the day because he's Superman. And this way, he's just keeping an eye on him. And I feel bad for Kara because in the movie version, she's just on a rooftop and he shows up and Bruce is just like, well, I need to put her down. So he grabs a piece of kryptonite and like basically just walks up to her and she passes out. Whereas in the book version, it's very heartbreaking because of the fact that she's clearly crying, doesn't know what's happening. She's freaking the fuck out. Bruce even feels bad because he's like, if I don't know what you're saying, if I did know what you're saying, this would be easier because I could just ask you to come with me. But you're doing so much bullshit that I have to stop you. So he guesses that kryptonite will hurt her, even though he's not 100% certain, as is mentioned later in the book, that Kara is in fact Kryptonian. So the next shot is in the Batcave, and it's just Bruce doing like tests to her real quick. I remember translating this scene because this scene kind of changes a little bit depending on what happens in it. Because in the movie version, when she breaks out, it feels more like she accidentally attacks Bruce when he looks at her, or when she looks at her, or looks at him. Sorry, no, when she looks at him. Whereas in the book version, she breaks out super angrily, and I remember translating this part too, because she's basically like so freaked out that she tries to fight back, and basically saying that you're not gonna like hold me or do shit to me type of thing.
Yeah, she looks pissed and is screaming a bunch of weird symbols and stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool. I wish I had time to translate it because I found the Rosetta Stone for it.
But speaking of the key to translate the Kryptonian symbols, I also remember this was when Smallville was coming out. I guess this would have been around season 4 was on TV, and Jeph Loeb was still working on that show. And I remember, trying to use the key that came in this comic to translate stuff. I had the Smallville DVDs. I would like pause on some of the Kryptonian writing and try
Oh,
to
that's fun.
translate some of it. So
I never tried doing that. I wonder if any of that still works. But I know that it's funny because in the movie, there's a Smallville sign later down the line that we're going to mention why there is, and I think it is the sign from the show, the
yeah,
Smallville one.
there's also you see kryptonite on Superman, kind of like affect his skin color, where starts getting like the green blood veins. That's something that
Yeah,
they would do on Smallville with CGI, and then Loeb would do it here in the Superman Batman comics.
exactly. And so eventually, when she breaks out, Superman ends up stopping her from murdering Batman, basically.
Well, she's wearing nothing but the white sheet that I guess Bruce laid over her before he started scanning her DNA in the Batcave. But
Yeah, they do. He does. Mike Turner does a good enough job to not show the bits, but she's still very sexualized.
But yeah, it's like, okay, she rises up from the bed she's laying on with this white sheet over her, and then when she's flying around the Batcave like mad, like about to attack Batman, it's just like it's perfectly wrapped around her to show off a lot of her, but just enough to make it a safe to be an all ages comic for kids to read.
Exactly. And so there's a page that happens when Clark and Zara and not Clark and Zara, Clark and Kara. That's my fault. Clark and Kara speak to each other purely in Kryptonese. This is the page that's fully translated on the trade. I actually looked it up, so I have it here. This is the full translation, which is that at least from this page, because it doesn't have the part beforehand, which I think is Superman just saying like calm down, basically. But she just goes, "You speak Kryptonese," and he goes, "I do. The question is, why do you? I speak the language because I came from the planet Krypton." And he says, "Really? Krypton was destroyed years ago, and everyone on it. Not everyone. My uncle was head of the science council. He tried to get them to understand the planet was unstable, but they wouldn't listen." He goes, "Your uncle?" "Yes, my father's brother. He built a spaceship, a prototype." This is what's great, because all of this is said later down the line, but like the fact that it's written before that point is kind of fun, which is her saying, "My father built a prototype, but I think he was supposed to send the entire family, but I think time ran out. My father was also a scientist. He believed his brother and built a similar but larger craft following the same coordinates. Your uncle, what was his name? Jor-El. He and my Aunt Laura had a son, Kal-El." He says, "I am Kal-El. Jor-El was my father." Then she says, "Then I made it. I made it, but you were just the baby, and, oh, I don't care, I have family here. I'm Kara Zor-El." And then I love this little line, which is Bruce just being like, what was that? What did she say?" And it's just Clark going, "This is my cousin."
Why are you speaking that language in front of me? Speak English.
He's like, "Yeah, this is America, damn it." No, yeah. This is Gotham. Yeah, he just says, yeah, this is where this became a meme, by the way, this specific page of him introducing Kara, which says, "This is Kara Zor-El, my cousin from Krypton." And it's supposed to be a sweet page, but this specific page is not this one. I'm trying to get it into frame. Is this omnibus is heavy.
Yeah, don't strain anything trying to lift that up.
There you go. This specific one, which is her holding the cape in front of her bits, and him just being like, "Hi, this is my cousin," or whatever. That became a very weird meme where people were changing it to random characters who were saying they had sex with her. It's a very weird meme.
I guess I didn't see that one, but
it was there's a GIF that's just all of them one after another. But there's another meme from the scene in the movie version, which is called "Handsome Superman," which is that it's when he's looking over her as they're talking. His face. Here's the weird thing about the animation. Is the animation, their faces were so weird looking compared, because it's hard to mimic this specifically, and people just started they started making different characters having that face instead, and it was very weird because it was all characters. It wasn't just Superman. It was like SpongeBob or Optimus Prime or just like anybody, and it was always the handsome whatever meme, and it was just fucking weird. And I still don't understand like exactly why that became a thing. But I always laughed at the animation sometimes because the way they drew their mouths made them look like they had mustaches that weren't drawn all the way in. Whatever they spoke in the movie version. This scene plays out pretty much the same in the movie. The only difference is there's a gag that's in the movie version that's not in this, which is she destroys the computer and he says that I'll pay you back. He's like, well, that was a $500,000 or no, $50,000 computer. He's just, and so that and then it's just the gag that comes into play later down the line.
Yeah, the on a reporter's salary.
Yeah, it was a fun gag. There's some gags that are in the movie that I thought were fun that aren't in the book, and some that are vice versa. And then it cuts to Batman and Superman translating the message to the rocket. The movie only has Superman translating it, but the comic has Batman kind of reading what's on there after they've translated it.
Yeah, but this is also, I guess, the beginning of the next issue, issue 9, and the thing that I guess the movie really, what I feel like the movie really loses is just the internal monologues that bounce off of one another. Because the first captions on the first page, Superman is thinking, this is a love story, and Batman is thinking, this is a detective story, and they're both kind of approaching the mystery of this Kryptonian girl related to Superman's family. They have such different approaches to it.
Yeah, because what's great about the comic, this is something I've always given Jeph Loeb credit for, is that Superman and Batman's internal dialogue is so perfect for their characterization, except for Batman being a little more insane.
Yeah,
he is normally.
He's kind of that. This was that paranoid asshole Batman, kind of like post Tower. This is the guy who's going to build the Brother Eye and all the OMAX and all of that stuff. So this is kind of where the character was at the time.
Yeah, and Superman Batman later down the line even has another story that's even worse, in my opinion, about him thinking the same thing. But yeah, I love that Superman's like, this is a love story, but it's not a love. It's not a romantic love story. It's a family love story.
Yeah.
Which also sounds wrong when I say it that way. But
no, it's like the same thing in the second Deadpool movie, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's very popular on the internet, is what I'm saying. No, what I'm saying is that it's a story that even Bruce brings it up with the idea of when a long lost sibling or a long lost family member is then meets the other one, like say it's like a DNA test and they show up, type of thing. It's like that's a fun little love story of like family love. Whereas Bruce is just like, this is a detective story, but it's not like a murder. This isn't a murder mystery yet, but it is a mystery because he doesn't know what to think of Kara. He keeps poking holes that he can in her story because it's too convenient. Like for one thing, she just shows up after the meteor shower, accidentally confirming that the meteor was in fact caused by Superman because it was following his signal to get to Earth. And which could be construed as like real bad if anybody found out. 2, she's a Kryptonian that just appears and has powers right away, and is like, and not only is another living Kryptonian, is literally your cousin. Like it would be even more suspicious if it was his sister or his dad or his mom or something. Like so many stories would make that a suspicious thing. Where it turns out, they're not actually their long lost whatever. Which makes sense that Batman would be like, look, I've watched enough Lifetime movies. Like everyone knows that it's too good to be true, basically. And I think that's really fun. And I like that the comic explains more about why her powers develop right away, because then the movie does. The movie just goes, fuck it, she has powers, type of thing.
Yeah. So that was something that I guess Loeb wanted to do to make it a little bit more interesting and maybe dangerous, or but this new Kryptonian kid on Earth, and we don't know much about her, and she seems to be perhaps even stronger than Superman.
Yeah, it's funny because the movie says it right away, whereas the comic only has like a single panel that mentions it, and it mentions that the light had that the ship has a sunlight generator in it, which explains it was just charging her this entire time, as it turns out, which is one of the reasons she's stronger. But then it comes a scene that I really love, which is that Kara just gets chased by Crypto, which is
Yeah.
funny knowing. It's funny especially with the movie that's coming up, where Kara and Crypto are best buds. But in this, Michael Turner draws the most horrific, angry dog for Crypto. He looks like he's gonna murder the ever living shit out of Kara. It's kind of impressive how
Yeah, he's
horrifying he looks in that scene.
scary Crypto.
Yeah, and he's just trying to like beat her up. And the movie is like, it's a little more played for laughs, but in the comic it's still, you actually find yourself worried about his reaction. Like you feel kind of Batman's thing, because a lot of people like to say that dogs are a good judge of character, which is honestly not true. Because here's the thing: my dog is an asshole, and he gets mad at anyone. They could be the most like, they could give to all the charities in the world and have no property whatsoever, and my dog would be like, fuck that guy in particular.
Yeah,
So
same.
Which is what Crypto's doing here. It's just like it's the equivalent of like if you brought somebody new to your house type of thing. That to me, that's what the actual thing is. Although there is an explanation for it later down the line, but that gets retconned later, I think. But
Superman he goes out of his way to say like, oh, the dog hates everybody. It's not her. When Batman's like, doesn't this bother you? Don't you think the dog's a good judge of character? I think it's interesting Batman sides with Crypto.
it's just more because I think Crypto makes him confirm his suspicions. It's funny though, because like for people who want to know what the retcon is, the retcon is that Kara was in the meteor shower for so long that she might have a tiny bit of kryptonite poisoning and she doesn't know it. And so it affects her later down the line, which is how they then discover it, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I found that out.
But that does happen. That explains why she acts so weird in the... Jeph Loeb also wrote a Supergirl ongoing series that was a spin-off out of this title.
So fun fact, I've never read that in its entirety.
Well, it's not very good. I read the first story arc and did not like it and stopped reading it.
I heard it wasn't. Yeah, I heard it was just real bad.
But I was
since
so
it was the first time
excited.
she came back. Yeah,
I was so excited to go into it after this. This was like a big deal when this came out.
It was a huge deal. I remember the only stuff of it I read was like later down the line when it connected to other stuff. But I think I might have already been a relaunch by that point, but I don't even remember. But yeah, that was Jeph Loeb's. Jeph Loeb was hinting at as a later thing, was what the original idea was there, according to him. The movie does something that made me laugh really hard when Kara is walking around the fortress's zoo, which is the movie just goes, family! Look at all these family animals. Look at this mother and its two babies and its family. Isn't it sad you don't have a family, Kara? Just looking her dead in the eye, being like, you sucks that you don't have family, you loser.
They add the creatures that I guess Michael Turner came up with for just one panel of the Intergalactic Zoo. Though you do see those things scurrying around in the movie.
Yeah, it's really fun. In the movie or in the comic, she's just walking down the hall. She's not looking at like a family of animals and stuff. So it's kind of funny.
When Kara goes to look at the statues of Laura and Jor-El with Batman, and they're talking about Clark's parents. I should know because I just watched the movie, but I can't remember if Jor-El and Laura, if they look like the same way they look in the comic.
I'm trying to remember because it's such a quick shot. Because I literally just watched it not that long ago, and it's such a quick shot that I didn't think about that. I do like the one small change. Yeah, the Jor-El's great. I like the one small change in the dialogue. Or not the small change. It's not a change because it's the comic version. That's not in the movie, which I wish was, which is Bruce is trying to like quiz her on Krypton because he's like in the Hall of Krypton, does it make you remember anything? Which is that there's one thing he says that it doesn't sound malicious, but knowing Bruce, you know that it's him doing his detective work, which is the part where he says, by the way, does the outfits look right to you? Because Clark has always been like, well, I don't know, or Cal, because he doesn't call him Clark. It's like, well, Cal's always been like, well, I don't know if that's correct or not. I want to know from you, the Kryptonian expert, basically, is what he's saying to her face. Does that look right? And she's like, that's why she says, "Damn you, I don't remember," because she's like, I know what you're fucking doing, asshole.
Yeah,
and then that's when she tells Bruce the story that he tells Cal in Kryptonese. That's what I think is interesting, is that story is in the issue before it, but it's not in English till the next issue. Which is that her backstory is different from what Tom King decided was her backstory later down the line. Because New 52 had already happened by the time Tom King did it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was the new version, which is that Argo City wasn't a thing, and that her parents just died. Like, she just died there. And the reason it didn't take off is that the rocket apparently didn't actually take off, is what she's saying, because she says it never left the planet under its own power, which I think is her saying when the planet exploded, it must have hurled it into space instead of it being launched, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and
which explains why she's stuck in a meteor.
Yeah, and then the ship was able to keep her alive in stasis.
The movie also says that they knew it was going to Earth, whereas in the book it just said it was locked onto a signal, so it just followed the signal instead.
This became the Supergirl origin in a lot of other stuff for a while, though. I mean, that's basically the version that we get in Smallville. That's basically the version we get in the Supergirl TV show, that Jor-El built his rocket for Kal-El and sent that, and then Zor-El built a rocket that was slightly bigger to put a teenager in instead of a baby, and then sent it to the same place the first one goes.
Yeah, so this was the version we knew of Kara for years. And there's in fact there's going to be an Elseworld soon that's supposed to be like, what if Kara did in fact make it at the same time, and like was she able to like take care of baby Kal-El and everything. So that's going to happen sometime this year apparently. So keep an eye out for that.
I like the idea
before that.
I like the idea of she was sent to go be her baby cousin's babysitter, basically.
No, I like that idea a lot. In fact,
it's a classic teenage girl thing to be like, "Oh, I took care of my baby cousin." So.
I think it's more interesting than the idea that and then she just lived on a floating city in the middle of space, and then her parents died. It's like, I don't know if that's as interesting to me, but it's more interesting from a PTSD standpoint than it is anything else. And I know Injustice has also made their own version of their version of the Krypton exploding, so it's not exactly the same. But I've
seen the cutscene of that. Yeah,
that Supergirl slightly the same. It is mentioned, like it's actually a fusion of this story and a fusion of Superman Brainiac, in my opinion, which is where, because for people who don't know what the Supergirl origin and Injustice was, she because it is this week. Supergirl is still sent out, but Brainiac is the reason he gets destroyed, because he ends up attacking and then she sees her parents more or less be killed by Brainiac droids instead, and then she's sent to Earth, and then Krypton explodes. So that one's like a fusion of those two, because Brainiac still attacked, but he didn't blow up Krypton in that storyline.
Yeah, but, Brainiac, I guess he showed up to get Kandor as Krypton's exploding.
Yeah, exactly. At least the Injustice version, or actually, sorry, the original version. And then I like that Bruce keeps asks her what her mom's name was, because it's just one of those things where it's like, if you know, you should know these types of things. And Clark's just like, man, stop, fucking leave her the fuck alone, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have time for your bullshit. And then it cuts to Apocalypse, which is the reason why the movie's called Superman Batman Apocalypse, which is that, although it's ironically enough spelled Apocalypse is normal. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
But it cuts to Granny Goodness, who in the movie is played still by the late great Ed Asner, who
Yeah, they bring back a lot of the BTAS STAS voice actors. I mentioned Kevin Conroy, but we should also say they have a what's his name,
Tim
Tim
Daly.
Daly
Yeah,
from.
my favorite Superman personally.
So it was cool
Um,
just to get. I guess this was like the second time he came back
yeah, he did it
after
for Public Enemies before
Public
that.
Enemies,
And then he does it again after that for another movie. I'm trying to remember which one it is. I have to remember later.
and it's
Oh, he does it for Doom. Yeah, that's right. He does it for Justice League Doom.
Susan Eisenberg as Wonder Woman, who was on a Justice League in
It's a
Justice League
shame
Unlimited.
they used a different Darkseid though. Although the guy who does Darkseid was the late great Andre Braugher, who did Captain Holt in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And he was in a lot of other stuff besides that. But it turns out that Grounding Goodness has a new person who wants to be the head of the Furies, who we saw the Furies the last time we had a Supergirl thing that we talked about, actually, ironically enough.
Yeah, an STAS. So Jeph Loeb was watching Superman the Animated Series.
This character is a very quick character. Her name's Precious, and the movie gives her more of a fighting chance, whereas the book just goes, and then she died 5 seconds later.
Yeah, she has one page to be introduced on, and then the another page to be killed on, basically.
It's all kind of hilarious how fast she dies, because in the movie she has this like epic fight. In the book, it looks like they all murder her at once, and it's kind of hilarious. The dialogue is the same for the most part, and especially with Darkseid, which is like, hey, it's like, what the fuck? You told me that Precious would be able to do this, and Granny's just like, well, I'm disappointed. I'm just as disappointed as you are, and he's like, well, fuck that. I've heard about something interesting that's happened on Earth. There's a girl who fell to Earth. Bring her to me, and then we'll figure that out. And if they fail, I'm going to get the Furies, ironically enough, to do the same thing they did in the Superman animated series, where the Furies beat the shit out of her.
And it's also like, okay, the Furies have been without Big Barda as the captain for a long fucking time, because that's like one of the first things that happens in like the old like Jack Kirby comics with Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, is that they flee Apocalypse together and then they go live on Earth. But just now, all of a sudden, Darkseid is like, I need a new captain of the Furies, so let's go get this girl who just fell to Earth.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just thought it was kind of funny that way. And then it cuts to the movie has a great scene where Clark takes
the shopping montage.
Yeah, there's a great. He takes her to the Metropolis for the first time.
They go to the mall.
There's just this huge shopping montage with some names like Old Blue instead of Old Navy, that sort of thing. That made me laugh. Because Old Blue is such a good gag. And she just buys. It's clear that Clark is like, what the fuck am I doing type of thing. He's spending shit tons of money on her. And some of the dialogue actually happens before the shopping montage. That's in the comic. But the comic basically starts as if the shopping montage had already happened. Which is that, hey, yeah, you already have the spending habits of an Earth girl is basically what he says. And she's like, I love this place, She's basically saying, this is better than Bruce's bullshit city.
Yeah.
And there's a funny hot dog line where she's like, what's this? It's like, it's not made from a dog, right? He's like, no, it's fine. It's just...
I mean, if you just got to Earth and you're just learning English, that's a very reasonable question.
It's a very reasonable question. Especially because I like the movie version because it has a sign that has like straight up a dog as its mascot. So she's like, he's like, no, it's fine. He's like, you don't want to know what it's made of, but it's fine. And I like the fact that she's like, I do want to know. It's like, I want to live life here. I want life to be different. And I like that he's like Bruce is still following them. It's funny because in the book, Bruce is following them as Bruce. He's not
right.
Batman.
And I like
still
the
in the shadows.
I like the way Michael Turner draws Bruce Wayne with like with the hair slicked back. This is before Batman Begins, but it comes off as very like Christian Bale and Batman Begins looking to me.
It does, and it also feels like he might have also been trying to be a bit in disguise. Because imagine you're walking down Metropolis, and you see Bruce Wayne skulking in the shadows, following a teenager. And you'd be like, Mr. Wayne, what are you doing over there? Would you take a seat, Mr. Wayne?
He's wearing his sunglasses at night, so you know he's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, her wardrobe, by the way, like when they're walking around in Metropolis, but like she has the crop top, and like you see the thong straps on
Yeah,
her, and
Clark bought her or not even Clark, because he says that Lois did this. Lois bought her a thong.
this is styling though, like 2004. This girl would totally get what we now call the tramp stamp tattoo. But like if you were like a college girl in 2004, basically like everyone got like that same tattoo, and a lot of people regret it now. But yeah, it's very much like that aesthetic that was the style at the time.
Insert Abe Simpson meme here. This was the style at the time. Because I remember looking at it going, Jesus fucking Christ. I love the way he draws Clark, by the way, in the scene. He's got this because he doesn't have like his hair's not gelled per se, but it's combed just in a very different way, and I thought that was really fun.
Yeah,
it's very anime like too.
It's hard for artists to make Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne look different. Like a lot of times, like I'll read a comic that has both of them, and it's like, wait a minute, like which one is this? Like especially if they both have glasses on, or one's wearing sunglasses like this.
Yeah, it's really fun. I like the fact they brought in the Superman statue after he died, which is the him with the eagle, which is based on an old cover way back when.
But yeah, it's the iconic statue.
Yeah, like it's Supergirl understanding, like, oh, this is how they see you. This is how things are different. Like you're larger than life, and
yeah. Like, also, you fucking died. That's kind of weird, but
yeah, it's funny that they don't bring that up. But also this is a scene that's also different, book wise and movie wise. Movie wise, Superman's attacked right away by the Amazonians, and
yeah,
the difference is that Kara kind of loses control in the movie. She like freaks out, destroys the statue with her heat vision and stuff, and like a lot of stuff happens. Where movie wise, she's just sort of freaking out, but she's not destroying anything. She's actually kind of quite in control of her powers more than I remember her being, because I guess I remember the movie version more when it came to that.
I didn't notice that she destroyed the statue in the movie, but like I was flipping through the comic as I was watching the movie, so I guess that just got by me. But
yeah, because she just starts heat visioning everywhere, and what happens is she slices the statue with her heat vision, and so the statue destroys. Because the movie, because when they get attacked, the Amazonians attack, and it's revealed that it's Wonder Woman and her, and the movie seems to imply there are other Amazonians that attack him, whereas the book it's just Lila, like multiple Lilas, because I guess she's able to duplicate herself.
But yeah, in both cases, in the comic and the movie, they are sure to show you the Apocalypse, Darkseid, Granny Goodness, and the female Furies getting ready to come after Kara before the scene. Because when you read it, you think like, oh, that must be the Furies attacking, and then you get like the turn the page reveal of, oh wait, this is Harbinger and Artemis and Wonder Woman. It's the Amazons.
Yeah, where the movie decides that Artemis isn't there. The movie just decides it's just the two of them. Because in the movie, Batman doesn't do anything. He just shows up being like, okay, Wonder Woman already told me is what he says. Where in the book, it's funny because the next issue seems to imply that Batman was in on the plan, but he still attacks Artemis, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Which is what I'm guessing why they removed it from the movie, because it doesn't make any sense for him to have been part of the plan. And so yeah, it's the movie does something different as well, which is it shows that Lila is having a vision of a blonde girl dead in the ocean, like in the water, with Superman holding her in his cape. And so
very reminiscent. It calls back the Crisis on Infinite Earths image of Superman holding a dead Supergirl.
Yeah, and so the movie decides to tell you right away. It decides to be like, that's the reason they're doing this. The book decides to keep that secret, actually, for like a while.
Yeah.
because it cuts straight to after it being revealed as Wonder Woman. The next issue opens up with it just being okay, and then they're on Themyscira.
Of course they are, because Michael Turner is the artist on this, and so they're like, hey, we need to feed our artist a lot of sexy ladies to draw, so let's go to Sexy Lady Island, the mascara.
And give Bruce and Clark the squarest jaws you could possibly have.
Yeah.
That they're straight up squares, and it's kind of hilarious when you look at this page. I would show the page, but again, I don't want to lift the omnibus. It's so fucking heavy.
I did notice, though, that while they have Kara on the island doing, like, Amazon training, in the comic, she has this, like, cool, like, red, like, Greek warrior woman skirt outfit that she's wearing. And for whatever reason, like, in the movie, they made it white. And I'm like, why'd you do that? It looked better red.
It does look a lot better red, and also it looks more like an actual armor. And the other one, it looks more like she's wearing almost like a tunic,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Or in this, yeah, it is more of an armor, and she has a. And Artemis is drawn very interestingly. Is the best way of putting it. But I love this. I love the inner dialogue, which is that Superman's very pissed at what's going on. Superman, like the movie has him saying it all out loud more often, whereas the book is just him being like, "I fucking hate this. I hate this so much."
But okay, here's I guess my issue with the Jeph Loeb Superman Batman run is that it felt like Jeph Loeb was constantly trying to do, like, wouldn't it be crazy if this happens? Like, wouldn't it be crazy if Superman and Batman have to stop a giant kryptonite meteorite from destroying the Earth, and the way to stop it is in, like, a giant rocket that looks like composite Superman that's one half Superman and one half Batman. And then we get here and it's like, wouldn't it be crazy if they find Supergirl inside of the meteorite? And then wouldn't it be crazy if Wonder Woman comes and fights Batman and Superman? And it's just like, you get a lot of these kind of inorganic, forced conflicts, and I like Superman being such kind of a I don't know, Superman and Superman and Wonder Woman butting heads so much here. It just feels like a little forced. Like, why are they constantly arguing about Kara has to stay here on the island? And
Well, the movie's even worse about their relationship in there, because the movie makes it seem like they decided to just kidnap Kara without talking to anybody about it, and like Clark is not told any. The book does the same issue, which is that, the book is a little more understanding about it, which is that Clark is also kept in the dark about why they need Kara to be on Themyscira, where the movie is a little weirder about it because they do tell him the truth as to why she's there. So why don't, like, if that's the case, why didn't they just come to him first? He'd be like, hey, by the way, Lila's seeing that it looks like she might die, and he would have been like, yeah, sure, yeah,
Right.
of course I want her to be somewhere safe. Whereas the book, he's understandably frustrated. They showed up, basically tried to kidnap Kara, won't tell him why, and he finds out that Batman is just like, it's like, yeah, I helped them stage all that, so because I wanted to see how she would react. Which is why it's hilarious that Batman beats up Artemis randomly in the book version. And also Superman overreacts hard more in the comic than he does in the movie. Which is that during the training session between Artemis and Kara, in the movie Clark just grabs her arm to be like, no, we're done here, basically. In the book, he straight up chokes the ever-living shit out of Artemis. And he's so angry in that sequence.
Yeah, he looks like a jerk. Yeah,
He looks very very mean. And then there's this argument between Wonder Woman and Clark about, like, you know, him just being understandably upset. But the problem is that they're talking about Kara and her fate like she's not standing directly next to them. I like that the movie she says, "Do I have a say in this?" And they yell out her no. Whereas the book, they just have the argument and don't once even consider that she should have a say in this. And eventually she kind of does.
yeah. And the movie keeps in the scene where when Kara and Harbinger fly off, and then they talk and get to know each other for a little bit. And I guess it's to make us sad later when, spoiler alert, Harbinger dies. Uh,
I laughed out loud when the book decides to go, you know what? I went all the way across the galley and I found someone like you. We're going to be friends for a long time, is literally what she says. And I lost my goddamn mind when she said that. Because I was like, God damn you, Jeph Loeb. That's so mean.
that's the kiss of death. But then, oh, because this is Jeph Loeb's Superman Batman. Hey, something crazy and unexpected has to happen. So what if Darkseid shows up to fight everybody? But not just one Darkseid, a bunch of Darkseids.
What do you mean the Doomsdays? Oh, yeah.
Or
The
no, I'm
Doomsdays.
sorry, Doomsday. Yeah,
That would be
Doomsday
hilarious if
shows
they were all
up.
dark sides instead. No, yeah, in the book, Lila has her vision, by the way, at this point when they're like, "Oh, we're going to be friends forever. Let's go swimming." Which cracked me up again.
These are well, go ahead.
It cracked me up because it's such a man thing to be like, and then the women decided to go swim scantily. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And yeah, and then the doom. Yeah, this is exactly what you said. It's like Jeph Loeb, because I didn't think about what you said until I started thinking about what were the stories after this.
Yeah.
Because the stories after this are, wasn't it crazy if Superman and Batman were tyrants instead, type of thing. And
But
it's
even
and then-
even the stories before this, like, wouldn't it be crazy if Bruce and Clark were talking in the Batcave, and then a Kingdom Come looking Superman from the future shows up and starts fighting them?
Yeah, I really didn't think about it until you started saying that, because
Yeah.
there's that one, and there's the story I mentioned, and then the story after that is like, well, wouldn't it be crazy if like they all went like dimension hopping, and there's like a team of Avenger type people or whatever, and you're like, what is happening? Like, there's a lot of crazy shit in Superman Batman. The Jeph Loeb run is very interesting, to say the least, and but Jeph Loeb still is very good at Superman stuff. He wrote, in fact, we had mentioned he'd written a thing for the Superman Batman. Or sorry, the Spider-Man Batman. I keep saying Batman. The Spider-Man Superman thing. He has a story in that, which I really liked. But yeah, the Doomsdays are fucking rad. Michael Turner draws a really cool Doomsday.
Yeah.
And I like that. For people who don't know, this is post Our Worlds at War as well, which at the end of the epilogue story for that was that Doomsday was released because he came back to life after Our Worlds at War, became sentient, and then was given to Darkseid as a gift from President Luthor for helping with the war effort, basically. And so it turns out that the crazy thing is that it seems that Darkseid may or may not have cloned a bunch of Doomsdays. At least they're not the para-Doomsdays from Apocalypse War. You remember that bullshit? That's what I thought of immediately once I
don't
read
think
this.
that was a good movie, but I think that could have been a good idea.
It's a okay idea, but I bet you that's where this book is probably, and story is probably where somebody got that idea.
Probably.
Of him doing something like that.
But
I like that it does remind as well that Batman does in fact know how to fight with weapons, so because he has a battle axe.
Yeah.
In this fight.
You see, now it looks like Absolute Batman. So
Yeah, he's got a big old absolute Batman axe.
who knew that the story inspired so much stuff to follow?
But
But
it turns out everything's different because of the story.
Batman goes out of the way to point out, like, oh, so these things, they're not as strong or as intelligent as the real Doomsday. That just must have been something in the process of making these copies. But they're not living, thinking, sentient things. They're not alive. I can kill them. So
Also,
he
like that
cuts loose.
the comic doesn't explain this, but the book does, which is the fact that he's like, well, there's a specific guy who makes these kind of like, they're more like dolls than they are copies. They're kind of like golems, is what it seems to be his idea, because they don't bleed and they don't really like. They more just replicate what, like, or they were like dittos basically. They copy the thing, but they don't exactly become that thing fully, if that makes sense. And so I thought that was really fun. But they still seem to be like a big match for the Amazons. Like they're whooping these Amazons' asses.
The movie doesn't do it justice, but when Clark has to do like the big heat vision blast, that it's pretty epic in the comics when you can do a 2-page spread to show some massive panels, but
Yeah, and not only that, like the aftermath is like kind of horrific because it's like these like it looks like there's like doomsday corpses all over the beach. Where the movie he just glasses it, and so
yeah.
they are vaporized from it. The other difference in the movie is that Batman runs off before this happens in the movie because he realizes what's going on. In this, it seems that he did at some point, but it doesn't point out him leaving, which is that Batman realized, oh, this was a distraction. They were after Kara, and then it's revealed that Kara was not the intended target of the Vision. It was Lila. Although this is the other thing is that the Vision in the movie, Lila seemed to just tell them, "Hey, this is what happens," whereas in the book, it's like she apparently told Wonder Woman she will bring death and destruction. Is the only thing they said. It's like this weird prophecy that's not specific, which keeps being recited throughout the rest of the book about like what Kara being here means for the rest of things. It has the same thing though, where the orb of Lila, the Harbinger had, still shows that Darkseid did in fact take her. Although the movie has this, it changes the line Clark has here, which is that he says, "I'll see it to it that Harbinger's death was not in vain." Where in the movie he says, "She'll be avenged," and I'm like, does that mean you're gonna kill somebody, Superman? Because that's what it sounds like you want to do there.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I'm gonna explain something later that happens that made me laugh because it's so. It feels like a miscommunication somewhere. So I want to see what you think about it when I mention it. But
Okay.
But after that, we're on to what issue is this? 11.
Episode 11. So, which in the comic we just go straight to. They got to go to Big Barda and Mr. Miracle's house to get passage to Apocalypse. But
I love the movie version because it shows the neighborhood like as normal, and then they land in this neighborhood, and everybody stops what they're doing.
the movie
looks at
shows it shows us Supergirl, or I guess she's not Supergirl yet. It shows Kara on Apocalypse briefly first, which I think was just to make it not feel as abrupt to go from Superman being like, okay, we have to avenge Lila, let's go, and then like they're straight to like the suburbs. It would have been like a little like you needed something in between there to break it up, I guess.
I think the movie also does it to explain why Kara just doesn't immediately break free and whoop everybody's ass. Because she's still strong. Because in the movie, she has this, like, kryptonite collar-looking thing while she's also, like, tied up. So you're just like, oh, I guess that's the reason. The book doesn't even try to tell you that she was tied up or something. They're just like, they took her, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's Darkseid.
But yeah, because Michael Turner, the guy known for drawing the sexy ladies, is drawing this. When they do show up at Big Barda's house, she is, of course, just getting out of the shower and just wearing nothing but a towel.
Yeah, he really makes sure to show off her legs and everything when that happens. I like that the book does mention why Mr. Miracle isn't there. The book just says, oh, he's on tour because he is an escape artist and he makes his money that way. Because at this point they were kind of retired. Originally was the idea. The movie just decides who the fuck cares. They don't even say his name.
Yeah, like they mention him like constantly, like they're talking about Scott in the comic. But yeah, the movie was like, we don't need like an off-screen character that the audience is never gonna see.
Like you see his suit because they make the same closet where he gets where Batman takes a bunch of shit, and that's the only time it's not even, but they don't bring any attention to it. And so it's just very strange.
I remember being disappointed in the movie the first time I saw it, and it got to this scene though, because I always thought this was so cool in the comic. One of the things that like I always remembered after reading this was how badass Michael Turner's Batman looks coming out of the water in that first issue. And then when they're in the scene where they're talking to Big Barda and they're kind of going back and forth in her living room talking about this dangerous mission to go to Apocalypse, In the background, you see Batman investigating something on like the TV or the DVD player or VCR or whatever's down there. But he like discovers the Mr. Miracle closet on his own, just being the world's greatest detective. And in the movie, they don't have Batman do that in the background. They just have her go get dressed into her super suit, come out, and then she's the one who opens up the cool Mr. Miracle closet.
Yeah, it makes it seem like she does it to get weapons out of it, whereas like he's like, I need some of Scott's bullshit.
Yeah.
Is what he does in the book, which I thought was really funny. But they make it more comedic in the movie, even them showing up, them talking, and them leaving because she's like, well, I'm coming with you, and they make some like comedy moments. So where in this, they're like, okay, you're gonna come with us type of thing. And she also it doesn't have her cape in the movie version, but I'm assuming that's because they didn't want to animate her cape.
They're like, man, we're already having to animate Bruce's cape and Clark's cape. We don't need no more capes.
Man, Clark says some fucked up shit to the both of them, to Wonder Woman and Bruce, because they're just like, because he's so gung ho about going there and saving Kara. And they're just like, dude, you need to calm down. Like, she's helping us. He's like, fuck you guys. I think I'm holding you both personally responsible for the bullshit I'm dealing with right now. And they're just like, what? They're like, yeah, you. It's like, you fucking did this. You fucking did this. And it's like, it'd be like if, and he brings up Donna Troy and Jason Todd because at this point they were both super
dead.
Although Hush had already happened. As well, as is mentioned in another piece of dialogue.
Everyone thought they were both dead.
Well, I think Donna was still dead at this point.
Yeah.
But Jason was like, it's iffy on when he was back to life.
He's was technically back to life before Hush, but Bruce didn't know.
Yeah, and I think the story also didn't. I think the idea was that the Red Hood hadn't even happened yet, like the story. So
this is after Hush, but before Red Hood.
Because the reveal in Hush, as it turns out, was Clayface pretending to be Jason.
But then in Red Hood, they say like, but there is that one part in the fight where you were fighting me, and then when you weren't looking, me and Clayface traded places.
Yeah, he's like, I did it for the love of the game, which just makes me laugh even further. And
shut the fuck up, Jason.
It's very weird. And then they boom tube to Apocalypse, of course.
Yeah.
This dialogue is pretty much the same too, where they say there's no place like home, it smells like death. Superman's like, I'm going to go find Kara, and when this is done, she's coming home with me, not you dumb motherfuckers, is basically what he's saying. And Batman's like, I got an idea. I was like, I have something I need to do. And then Wonder Woman and Barda go straight for the Furies. A lot of this fight is the same. Olivia mentioned that the Wonder Woman and Barda fighting the Furies in the movie is really fucking cool. It's one of the coolest things in the entire film. Like, they do a really great job with animating it.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that happens in the movie that's different from the book that made me laugh my ass off thinking about it, which is that during the fight, I think it's Stampa. Is that her name? The one that does the strong one?
Yeah, Stampa.
In the book, Barda stabs her, but she stabs her in like the side to stop her from attacking Wonder Woman. And so she's definitely going to survive that. So she's like, that hurts kind of thing. And Barda's like, yeah, fuck that lady. She fucking kills her in the movie. Because she straight up stabs her directly in the back of the chest. Like, she fucking murks Stampa in the movie. And Wonder Woman's like, thanks! Like, super happy and cheery about it. Doesn't even go like, Barda, what the fuck? You fucking killed that Fury. Doesn't say anything like that in the movie. She just saw her stab her to like straight through the chest. And she's like, yeah, girl power. It's just, no, she just fucking killed that girl. Which makes it funnier, like, later down the line when they have, Granny at their mercy, and she's like, don't kill her, that would make you just as bad. I'm like, she just fucking, what are you talking about? Like
I didn't notice that.
I laughed out loud because it made me laugh. But the book, it's like, yeah, it makes sense. She didn't kill any of them, but she does stab them quite a bit throughout it. But she never once kills any of the Furies in the comic. And Michael Turner, he's he does some pretty good shots in this. Some of the fighting is a little incoherent here and there, but overall it's still pretty good.
He's not a good action guy, in my opinion. He's kind of like that Jim Lee style of like he can draw characters in a cool pose, but he has a hard time like conveying action from panel to panel. But
oh yeah, he's good at single punch things.
Yeah.
Like, so when one person punches them, like like when it's just like pow, he can do the pow, basically. But if it's like something that's supposed to be like an intricate, like these are warriors fighting to the death, it's like I can't tell what you're trying to convey to me here. Even though the movie is like it's wonderful what they do. While they're fighting the Furies, Batman is being chased by two gigantic fucking guard dogs.
The hunger dogs, right? Is that what they call those things on Apocalypse? They're
the demon dogs.
The demon dogs,
book, I think.
Yeah,
I think
they
call
show
them
up a
something
lot.
different in the movie.
Oh, the movie added that tank fight for no reason. That like
yeah,
it didn't really add much.
It adds nothing. Superman punches fire, by the way, which my girlfriend laughed at. She's like, "How do you punch fire?" It's very weird. A very strange thing for them to do.
Batman flies around on one of... well, no, it kind of looks like the thing that Orion rides a lot. But I guess Mr. Miracle has one sometimes, too. The little...
Yeah, it seems that he just has one, and that's the one that he's using.
The new Genesis flying machine thing that Orion rides. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know how to describe it other than that.
I love that the book has everything being Mr. Miracle things. He's using all Mr. Miracle weaponry and devices.
And he's like, "Thanks, Scott."
Yeah, where in the movie he's just like, "I'm Batman. I have all the things except for the flying machine." It's the only thing he takes from it.
Say thank you to Scott, Kevin Conroy. Jeez.
I really wish that it did that. The scene pretty much plays out the same outside of that. Him being chased, he gets away from them for a minute, but then he gets almost eaten by the demon dog. Except instead of it being something that Mr. Miracle gave him, it's just a bunch of smoke bombs, I guess? Question mark. This scene plays the same, where Superman's going, where there's these Death Riders or Death Rides. I don't know what they're called. They just say Death Rides the Night. I don't. Oh, jockeys. They call themselves jockeys.
Yeah, they're a crazy Michael Turner design that don't really look like anything that's been on Apocalypse before, but that's okay. I'm
they're these like suicide bomber robot looking things.
Yeah, they look kind of like I don't know, like a T-800 from Terminator, but like if it came from Mordor.
It's like if you fused an Ultron with that sort of thing. But they do nothing because all they do is explode. Superman's having this kind of really out of character inner monologue during this sequence as well, where he's just like, I blame fucking even Barda for this bullshit because she helped train the Furies, and I'm like, Clark, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, he is very irrational.
Yeah, he's clearly like just really upset with how everything's going. The comic is slightly different when it comes to this part, which is that he breaks in looking like fucking Akuma from Street Fighter, with his eyes all red and his cape flowing and shit. He looks fucking rad as hell. And he's just like, I'm here to get Kara. And I think I like the way the movie or the comic does, which is that he looks angry, but then his eyes soften once he sees Kara.
Yeah.
But then it turns out Kara is wearing the gothiest outfit you could get in the 2000s.
Oh yeah, Darkseid took her to Hot Topic. She had like a whole nother shopping montage, but with Darkseid.
It turns out on Apocalypse, every story is a Hot Topic.
That's
but not like modern, but not modern Hot Topic where you can get nerdy things. It's like original Hot Topic, where everything was like dark lipstick and leather was what it used to be.
Yeah, like the kids who listen to Korn and Slipknot are shopping there.
And she looks pretty happy actually. Darkseid's just like, yeah, she's free to go whenever she wants, if she wants to leave. Which the idea, as we mentioned, this scene is basically still canon according to the current Supergirl comic. This still happened, which is that she was kidnapped and brainwashed by Darkseid. And Superman, it's funny because in the book, she doesn't actually freak out on him right away. In fact, he's like, hey, well, I'm here to save you or whatever, and he says something to her in Kryptonese, which I'm guessing is just being like, hey, you're safe. I'm here or whatever. And he grabs her hand. He's like, yeah, we're gonna get going. And fuck you, Darkseid is basically what's. It's actually kind of adorable how Superman goes about it in the comic. Whereas in the movie, she just attacks his ass like right away. And then because the dialogue's about the same, which is that she's like saying, she's like, you didn't listen to what Darkseid said, which is that I am free to leave whenever I want to, but you never listen. You only and the book says it's slightly different, which is like you never listen to you only like to listen to your voice, is what she's saying. And she just starts wailing on him. The movie does a decent job at conveying like how much he beats the shit out of him. In fact, I think she beats the shit out of him worse in the movie than she does in the book. And then at least for a chunk of it, and Darkseid's just like, yeah, okay, you can kill him now because I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this bullshit. And that's the end of that specific issue. And then I guess we're on to the next one from there.
On issue 12 on the cover, it's titled instead of the Supergirl from Krypton, the Supergirl from Apocalypse. And now that it's teasing Kara as possibly the, I guess, Darkseid's plan is that she would become the new captain of the Female Furies. But it's such a Michael Turner design, the Darkseid's Kara Zor-El.
Yeah, and we know that's still the outfit apparently, according to the new story, the new stuff that it does it. We then see the conclusion of all three fights, which is that in the book, Wonder Woman chokes out Granny Goodness and threatens to murder Granny Goodness instead, and Barda stabs the other two Furies with her helmet by like throwing her head back real hard. Batman does the exact same thing he did in the book, which is that he survives the demon dog by gassing himself out, except for the difference it's Scott related. And he then just orders the guys to take their armor off like right now, while Superman's still getting his ass beat by Supergirl during all this. This is something I'm amazed they took out of that's not in the movie, which is the fight in the fire.
It's the coolest fight in the whole comic.
Yeah, because the fight happens technically, but it's just like they both fall in the fire and they fight, but it's just like a normal fight. Like and Superman just comes out on top. Where the book is that like she fires, and since she's like in like I'm willing to kill you mode, he realizes she may be even more powerful than I am. So in the last ditch effort, he does something really fucking cool, which is that it turns out in his belt buckle, he's carrying the the kryptonite ring that he had normally given Batman, but he just has it on him now. Although I think maybe it's a separate one. I'm never clear on that. And then he just punches her the fuck out. Just
but
right in the face.
It's a cool kind of reaction to, like Batman has some kryptonite on him, like just in case he needs it. It's like, well, what if, it's even kind of more badass if Superman kept some kryptonite on hand just in case he's fighting a Kryptonian stronger than him. And even though, like, the ring is going to hurt him too, like, he's actually going to put his ass on the line and use a weapon deadly to him.
Yeah, and you brought this up. It's this gnarly, like, the veins in his hands are turning green as he puts the ring on.
It's having a Smallville writer-producer also writing this comic, I think is what it is.
What I love about the punch as well is that Superman doesn't look angry. He looks upset with himself.
He's very much like, this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. Like, I believe it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And he even says that. He's like, this breaks my heart. He says her full name, by the way. He says her full government Kryptonian name and just fucking punches her right in the goddamn face, and she goes down. Then comes one of the more insane things Bruce has ever done, but this is Jeph Loeb's version of Batman, which is that Batman is an all or nothing type dude, because it turns out his plan was that there are these things called Hellspores, which are designed to just turn planets into apocalypse, which is the thing that he likes doing.
One of these things creates the massive apocalypse fire pit that you can see burning from space.
Yeah, and so he.
I think he says he has 500 of them.
Yeah, he's got like 500 on a pocket because they're not, they have to be stored somewhere.
He's at like the Hellspore armory.
And so he reprogrammed them all, and armed them all. He's like, they'll explode if I don't deactivate them.
If Darkseid doesn't surrender, if this all powerful god doesn't surrender.
I like the comic version because he actually assaults Darkseid as he's saying this, because he's just like, he's telling him the code as he's punching him out, trying to punch him out with the armor.
Yeah, he's got this cool looking like demonic Michael Turner armor from Apocalypse that that could possibly allow a mortal man to fight Darkseid briefly.
Yeah, and it doesn't really do anything because Darkseid just starts beating the shit out of Batman immediately, both in the comic and the movie. But in the movie, Batman doesn't fight back. But Batman's just like, you do what you want. If I die, your whole fucking planet is dead. And what I love is the fact that this is one of the things that I actually still appreciate about it, because as insane as Batman is in this moment, Darkseid is correct in what he says here, which is that if any of the other two had did this, if Superman or Wonder Woman had did this, is basically what he's saying, I would have not believed them one bit. But you're a human being, and you guys kill each other for, like, nothing. Like, just for the shits and giggles of it, which he admires immensely, is what he says. He's like, I admire the fact you guys are willing to just murder each other for shits and giggles.
Hey, Darkseid, if you think Kryptonians can't kill each other, General Zod would like to have a word with you. But I guess
it's funny. Yeah, it's funny. I feel like if General Zod did this and him going, I don't know if I believe you, that'd be hilarious to think about. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I guess there wasn't much Kryptonian on Kryptonian violence in this era of the comics, because it was a big deal just to get Krypto back, like the dog from Krypton. Now we're getting like the other Kryptonian with Kara. It took 20 years just to get that.
A huge deal. And then so it concludes, this sort of concludes with them being like, okay, I've got Kara. Darkseid has agreed I will not make a move against Supergirl anymore. I will not come for her. I will not attack. I will not purposefully attack her. I will not ask her for her number. That sort of thing.
I won't take her to Hot Topic anymore.
Yeah,
the only store at the Apocalypse Mall.
She can keep the Hot Topic outfit. I get rewards bucks for that anyways. It's fine. And so he and Wonder Woman just throws down Granny Goodness there to be like, hey, here's your bullshit, by the way. I'm just gonna fucking leave now. And they all leave, of course. And I like the scene. It's funny because the movie shows Superman kind of beat up. So Kara's like, oh, did I? It's like, oh, did I do that? He's like, it's fine. I don't care. But in the book, he's just like, I don't give a shit. He looks exactly the way he normally looks. And it's a little depressing because she's just like, she doesn't seem to remember everything. In the book, she says, it was all one long nightmare, and all I remember was trying to get home.
Yeah,
in the movie, she's like, the last thing I remember was Lila dying horribly.
In the comic, she wakes up on Themyscira, and it looks like when Frodo wakes up in Rivendell in Return of the King.
It really does. It's got that heavenly glow and everything.
Yeah,
it's really funny.
Like Superman is like by her side, and then it's like you see like who is it like. Frodo looks out and I think he sees Sam at the door. Like instead here, it's like Kara looks out and sees Batman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it's really funny. But the funny thing is in the movie, Batman looks fine. In the book, Batman is like fucked up. He's in an arm sling. He's broken every bone in his body. That sort of thing. And this is where the book and the movie changed the most, actually. Which is that after seeing the Lila statue to being like, oh my god, I can't believe Lila's gone or whatever, she still tells the Allura thing to Bruce. Mm-hmm. But what happens is instead of the way the movie does, which is that she doesn't get the outfit till the very end of the movie, she's given the outfit right away. She puts it on for the first time in the fortress. And we see this outfit. It's kind of a fusion of what we know now and the original one, which is that it's got a blue skirt instead of a red skirt, but it's got the yellow outline. It's got the yellow on the top of the boots, but the crop top has like a yellow on the bottom of it. and she has the thing that happened a lot of outfits back then, which was the it was like a sleeve that didn't end at the that didn't end right here. It's like it ends like in the middle of the hand or something.
Everyone's sleeves were too long.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. And so she it's funny because there a lot of the dialogue that happens here is in the bed sequence in the movie one, which is her being like, "I'm sorry," and he's like, "Look, Darkseid, you know, he has a bunch of hypnotists. It's what he says. Darkseid is evil. Like you didn't do anything wrong. Darkseid's just evil. You fell into his clutches. That's what happened." And she's like, "Well, I don't know if that's the case, or maybe there was darkness already in me," which is a fun piece of dialogue. I think the movie does a better spot of where it's said than the comic does, personally. But it's still a nice scene, and then she flies around in the outfit, and she's just I like that he mentions that Martha made the outfit for him.
Yeah,
because it turns out
it's a callback to Loeb's. What was the other comic we talked about that he wrote? No, not Up and Away. What the fuck is it called?
I'm trying to remember which one it was. Oh, For All Seasons.
Superman for All Seasons. Thank you. But
Sorry,
yeah,
I was trying to remember which one he wrote.
But yeah, it's the same thing in that when he says, "Oh, my mom made it for me." Here he says, like, "Oh, my mom made it for you."
Then comes one of the funniest things I can think about not because of what happens, but more because I think about the implications of it, which is that Superman and Kara. In the movie, they drive the Smallville, which is when the Smallville sign appears from the Smallville show.
Mm-hmm.
In the movie, in the book, Superman and Kara fly down as Superman and Supergirl proper, and he's like, "Yeah, Mom and Dad aren't here, but maybe we can have some pie. I want you to meet them." And this is the reason why this is funny to me, because he walks up to the door, and the first thing that happens is that Darkseid's fist comes through the Kent's door to punch Superman really hard. So I have two questions. One, how did Darkseid get in there? Two, was he in there eating some of the pie before he assaulted Superman?
He was straight up eating he was like, Kal-El of Krypton, I am in your mom's house eating the pie that was supposed to go to you.
I'm eating your pie and drinking your milks.
Basically, yeah.
I can't stop picturing the idea of Darkseid being like, "I'm here for revenge of them." Ooh, pie.
But it is kind of like a oh shit moment to see Darkseid's fist come out of the screen door and then the big fight begin.
The book does a good job of explaining to you, hey, the Kents aren't home, like right away. The movie just goes, who knows? Like originally, at least, you find out eventually. But when the scene starts, you actually are legit just as surprised, than anyone else is, because Clark does in the book. Clark's just like, well, nobody should be home. It's fine. But then Darkseid's like, look, I said I wasn't going to attack Supergirl, but that doesn't mean I'm not allowed to kill Superman. Is basically what happens. And then this is where it differentiates the most, because one, in the movie, Kara doesn't have the Superman outfit yet, or Supergirl outfit yet, and Clark is dressed as Clark when he shows up. So the Superman outfit's revealed when he gets attacked. As he's getting attacked in the book, Supergirl flies in front of his mega beams to save Clark, and she's seemingly killed because she's hit by the Omega beam. Something happens to her, and then there's just a dust. And Superman's showing to cry, and that's how the issue ends, which is a wild ending to an issue. Like, wouldn't it be fucked up? Like, because I know, like, wouldn't it be fucked up that, like, you introduce Supergirl back into the main continuity after 20 years, and then she died as Supergirl 3 pages later? Wouldn't that be fucked up? That would be fucking insane if that's how that story ended.
Yeah, I don't think anyone. I feel like at the time they were talking about this as being like a big deal about having like actual like real Supergirl back. So I don't know if anyone would have been tricked by that, but
I don't think they were. But it was fucking. I was at first when I first read it, but that was years ago. I was very young when that happened, and then this is where the movie differentiates, which is that in the movie, when he attacks Superman, he launches Superman into space.
Yeah.
And then Kara has like an epic fight against
It's
Darkseid.
the best part of the movie. It's the only thing. It's the only distinction where I really prefer the movie over the comic is the fight at the end.
It makes sense as to why it happens in the book based on what the reveal is, but it makes more sense with what we know about happens later, because it seems like a lot of work for no reason. You know what I mean? Because eventually Superman starts beating the shit out of Darkseid, because Darkseid doesn't feel bad about it. He's like, well, you know, you win some, you lose some, Superman, and it's hilarious that you finally found another one of your family members, and they're dead, and you're an orphan again. So, lol, bro, deal with that bullshit. And he tries to leave. And then Superman just starts fucking whooping his ass. These fight scenes are a little cool because because it's mostly like punches and like laser visions and stuff like that. Wonder Woman tries to show up to help Superman. Superman does something weird that caught me off guard, even knowing the plan that made me laugh. Which he goes, stay out of this, Diana, when she saves him. He grabs her, and the panel seems to show that Clark launched her ass out of the barn.
Yeah. I don't get that. That doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make a lot of sense because, and then Superman grabs Darkseid. This is the other thing that's different, which is that in the book, the way Superman defeats Darkseid is he flies up next to the sun. They have a fight in the sun I guess this is a way to keep Clark full powered at all times while he whoops his ass. And then he flies him to the edge of space. Because for people who don't know, in the DC universe, there is an actual end to space. There's a wall called the Source Wall that is it's the last barrier that you have to pass to somehow get
out the universe.
To the
yes,
outer
the edge of
space.
the universe.
Yeah, which is kind of hilarious to me that there's a wall at the end of the universe. It's like if you were driving in your town and then for some reason there was a graffitied wall at the end of your town that was all graffiti artists jammed into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just something weird as shit.
That you can't go past, but you can actually you can be stuck in the wall and become part of it.
Yeah, and so Superman just jams Darkseid into the Source Wall. Which I'm like, why couldn't it? If you could have done that this whole time, why haven't you done that before?
Yeah, Jeph Loeb never asks that. It's like, like Big Barda left Apocalypse a while ago. Why didn't Darkseid start looking for a new captain of the Furies until right now? Or why doesn't Darkseid just go to Jonathan and Martha's to get Superman whenever he wants? He's just going to do that right now.
Exactly. And so the book has this kind of like almost heartfelt thing where Superman's flying back and shows all these scenes of Clark and meeting Supergirl and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's kind of and then her dying randomly, which is a strange thing to be the last thing you show. And he shows back up in Smallville. I love this scene a lot in the book because it shows that once he left, the Justice League immediately showed up and started fixing the Kent farm. And they were like, yeah, Green Lantern's picking up a new tractor. Flash and Martian Manhunter are fixing the house. The movie does it for laughs, which is that everything just falls apart, and he's covered in his own blood. His suit's in tatters. Kara's beat the fuck up because in the movie, or actually, let's mention what happens to the Darkseid in the movie. He fights Kara. Kara gets a good fight, but gets her ass beat after a while. Superman wakes up in space, flies down, beats the shit out of Darkseid, but it still also has some trouble. And Kara reprograms the mother box to send him into a random spot of space. Meaning Kara has saved the day in the movie, where in the book Superman has saved the day.
Yeah. And I prefer it being her victory, because like in the comic, when he's done fighting Darkseid in the sun, he says, Darkseid is like, I am Darkseid, when he's all defeated, and Superman says, yes, but your defeat is in Supergirl's name. And I was like, well, instead of his defeat being in her name, just have her be the one to defeat him, Jeph.
Exactly, and so he defeats her in the book. She defeats him in the movie, and the difference is the Justice League doesn't show up to fix the house. The Kents show up last minute, And they're wearing like 19 fucking 40s almost outfits.
Yeah.
They're wearing like they're kind of wearing the outfits in the beginning of the Superman the movie almost.
Of the Donner movie, yeah.
Yeah, and they have no lines. They're just their mouths are wide open. They're all they see is their son beat the fuck up in a Superman suit, super fucked up. He has a giant bruise from an Omega beam to the right side of his face, by the way, which always cracked me up. And Supergirl's also fucked up, and he just goes, This is my cousin. She's your niece now, and I'm sorry about the house." It's a very comedic moment. It's very funny. And so those are the two different things. And then, but the other thing that the book has that the movie doesn't have in any shape or form, which is that Superman. It turns out that there was a plan to fake Supergirl's death, so she can choose her own destiny from here on, which is without anybody trying to find her, because now everybody thinks she's dead. The plan was that when Darkseid made that promise, Superman's like, I don't trust his ass, so I'm gonna trick him by giving her a Supergirl outfit. This is what's weird to me. He made the Supergirl outfit not as a like, you know what, I believe in you, Supergirl. He made it as in like when you have a red cape for a bull. He's like, yeah, I flew her around like a jackass to be like, look how happy we are, Darkseid.
Yeah,
and I knew that would piss him off.
Superman was flying around basically being like, Toro, to Darkseid.
And Darkseid took that bait, which is hilarious, and he immediately assaults them. The plan was that the second she was hit by anything he did, they I don't know how this works, by the way. They teleported her using the JLA tower, and then teleported dust at the same time, or ashes at the same time in her location, to make it look like she was vaporized. Which again, I don't know how that works. Sure, I guess I don't know. And they're like, yeah, you now can make your own decision. You know, you're free. You're free to do whatever you want now. People think you're dead. You don't even have to be a Supergirl if you don't want to. Yeah. You can do whatever you want. Which honestly is a nice sentiment, but knowing what the choice is, it makes it seem like they did all this for no reason. Where the movie's a nice choice because it means that her winning the fight against Darkseid would mean is the reason she does her choice instead.
Yeah. Yeah, and like saving the costume reveal for the very end was cool. Oh, and like her tore up civilian clothes that she gets in like the fight with Darkseid. I guess they got to sneak in one other outfit change on her. They give her more outfits in the movie. She gets more looks.
She gets a lot of looks in the movie. She has another shirt, that she does eventually wear that just says "I love Met," which I'm guessing is supposed to be short for Metropolis.
Yeah, like I love New York.
I love the conversation though between Batman and Superman about how he feels about Kara versus how Bruce probably felt about Jason, because they're similar in that sense, but at the same time there are two different things entirely. And I like that Superman apologizes for what he said about Jason.
Yeah, the story is kind of weird in that they wanted Superman, I guess, to catch up to Batman and be like, now you too know what it's like to have a teen sidekick and then to lose them.
It was really interesting to do, and then of course the book ends with almost a very similar scene, but the difference is in the book and the movie. He's like, yeah, you know, since all of you helped protect Supergirl, or Kara, we figured it'd be nice if you were the first to see this, as well as the first to know about this, which is that I introduced you to Supergirl.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's Artemis and Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman. And I think Barda's there too, and they're like, yeah, hooray, or whatever. I like the book. The book does what it does only because the book's able to do this, where the movie clearly wasn't allowed to, which is that she meets the Teen Titans are there. Superboy's there, which is now her other cousin.
Yeah.
Nightwing and the Outsiders, which was the style at the time. Was
yeah,
there.
This was Judd Winnick was doing the Outsiders. Jeff Johns had just relaunched Teen Titans. JSA was still. It was like, look, Kara, you could go be a character in the Teen Titans, or you could go be a character in the Outsiders, or maybe join the JSA or the JLA. She ended up not joining any of those teams, but
not for a while. She eventually joined the Justice League just before the New 52 started, which is Like she was the Justice League for like all of like 3 months. And she also mentions like, yeah, I need to talk to Power Girl, and it's like, yeah, you should talk to Power Girl. She's the alternate reality version of you.
Yeah.
And then it ends with Superman being like, I know that she'll do more. After all, everybody fights for a better tomorrow. He's like, and there's this nice thing. She says, "Thank you, everyone." It feels weird that that's another costume reveal almost is what it feels like, but it's like a full page. It's just a full page Supergirl thing, and Superman because in the intro monologue, Superman's like, "I'm so alone. I'm really pissed off that I'm alone. This sucks. I'm the only person." And at the end of the book, he's like, he's basically saying, "I started the story." Is basically what he's saying. And he says, "I started this journey instead." But it's basically him saying the story. I started it thinking I'm alone, but I'm no longer alone. Now I've welcomed to the world Kara Zor-El. And Batman's like, "Look, I don't know what the world has in store for Kara, but I trust Clark's instincts, and so I'm going to trust that she's going to be great." Is basically what he's saying. And he does say the words "for now," and this story apparently is dedicated to Christopher Reeve at the very end of it, which is very sweet. And that's the book version, and the movie version, as we mentioned, ends kind of in the way it kind of ends where the first flying sequence ends, whereas in the comic they're flying around before they go to Ma and Pa's, whereas the movie ends with that as the final set of shots instead. Her playing around, and she plays around with Superman's cape and stuff. It's a very sweet moment. But I think I really love the fact I both really like this story a lot. It has the issues that you mentioned that Jeph Loeb does a lot, as well as the 2000s things that it has. But I love its art. I love the dialogue between a lot of the characters, and I like the fact that it set up a lot of stuff that would happen later down the line. And I like a good dark side story overall. It's not a bad story. The movie, I think, tightens it up a lot better, as we mentioned, especially the ending. But I do appreciate that there was an actual Kara Zor-El, that they actually decided to animate that, of all things. I am always bummed because I kind of wish they made more Superman Batman stories as movies. I feel like that was the plan originally, and then they probably just changed their mind at some point. But what did you think overall of the story?
Well, I am glad that we revisited this because I liked it a lot more than I thought I remembered. And I guess I hadn't reread this since I saw the animated movie. But yeah, I guess I disliked the things Loeb does with Supergirl in the that ongoing series we talked about. So, but yeah, it kind of sucks that, he actually, I guess, had kind of a good starting point to do something better with the character. But the movie is a pretty fun watch. I think it's a good thing to revisit from time to time. I'm kind of okay with them not adapting some of the stuff that came after this, because I take that, I guess it's like after Loeb, I guess like the Batman Superman book, it really kind of goes off the rails in terms of quality in the post Loeb stuff. But even like the stuff with Loeb, it's just it kind of felt like every issue is just going to be something like, what's the most bonkers thing that could happen now? But that being said, looking back at it now after rereading this story, this is, I think, my favorite thing that came out of that entire run, out of all the stuff that Jeph Loeb did on Superman and Batman. And as a guy who wrote both those characters a lot, I guess Superman for all seasons is my favorite thing he did. But I don't know, this is pretty high up there too.
Yeah, out of the Superman Batman stuff, Supergirl was the best thing he written of them all. I still love Superman Batman Public Enemies, but it's very much. It doesn't work as a standalone story the same way, if that makes sense. Because even though there's a movie, you're still starting in the middle of like Lex Luthor being president,
yeah,
type of thing, and you just have to deal with like the baggage of our worlds at war is in there too, and stuff like that. Where Supergirl's just like, yeah, this would, if you made this an actual movie, like you wouldn't need to adapt anything prior to it almost. You wouldn't even need the kryptonite meteors thing. You would just need Supergirl showing up, type of thing. Like, you could easily make that work, in my opinion.
But yeah, and I for a long time I thought this would kind of be like a good way to do a Supergirl reintroduction in live action. Like have her arrive. Like there's already a Superman established. There's already a Superman who's working with Batman and other heroes, and then Supergirl shows up, and this is all new to her. Like you could almost launch a DC universe with this story, and just have Supergirl be the POV character.
Yeah, it all would have worked out. I feel like if the Arrowverse had started with a Supergirl story that way, it would have worked just as well, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, I guess I also would have thought that the next big Supergirl depiction in live action, which turns out it's going to be a movie coming out later this month. We're in June. We can say that it's later this month now. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what 20 days from now, 25 days from now.
I guess I always figured we would get something like kind of close to this, of like Zor-El just copied his brother Jor-El's homework, and he also made a spaceship for his kid, and kind of does the same thing and launches them from Krypton. And it looks like the movie is going to do something a bit more closer to the old Silver Age origin with Argo City. So I guess the thing I'm more curious about now is, will Gunn and the DCU and their version of Supergirl, is she still going to be older than Clark? And at one point she's spent time cryogenically preserved and not aging, or is she going to be, oh, she was a child who was born in Argo City and never actually lived in old Krypton?
Yeah, it's interesting living in a world where we don't know, because if you would have asked me prior to this point, I would have assumed that was supposed to be older. I would have, because that's what every other version has ever done with her since Jeph Loeb's version. Because I forgot that Jeph Loeb is what started that.
Yeah, me too.
I had always assumed that was the original idea, and then it's like, no, the original idea was what Tom King presents as her origin. He just does like a dark version of her origin, whereas the Silver Age it's like dark, but not like, but it feels more like it's like overly fine. Because as we mentioned in the original version, they're like, well, once we realized that the bottom was kryptonite, we put giant sheets of lead everywhere, and everybody was fine. Whereas in the Tom King version, is like, well, thousands died trying to set up this lead shielding with their fingers bleeding to the bone and shit like that. And it was the darkest times. And you're just like, these are two completely separate stories. Where this one is like kind of in the middle. It's like, this is dark because, she saw her parents die and they lied to her that everything would be all right, type of thing. But, she didn't have to suffer through any of the bullshit Tom King had to. But she also didn't just have like a super cheery, happy life before she had to leave Krypton, type of thing, if that makes sense. Or like Argo City. Like she had a happy life, don't get me wrong, but it's not the same. She didn't even have to deal with any of that shit. She always lived on a planet and just happens now to live on Earth instead of growing up in space the way the original one does. It's very strange. Very, very strange.
But we have how many more days until the movie gets here? I'm pulling up the calendar now.
We have 3 weeks till the new movie comes out.
3 weeks. So we still have we could still talk about some Lobo in the meantime, and then there's still some more Supergirl. We have the Supergirl of Smallville and the Supergirl of her own CW TV show.
Yeah, and we could probably talk at least about the Superman Lobo episodes of Superman the Animated Series, probably. The two that exists, or the two main ones. I know there's like, I think there's like one other time he shows up, and I think it's in Justice League. Yeah,
but that's not really like a Lobo story.
No, like and even Lobo showing up in Man of Tomorrow, the original animated Man of Tomorrow, he's kind of just the side character to that. He's like we can mention it, but
what do you think of the animated Superman Man of Tomorrow?
I like it, but I don't love it, type of thing.
I thought it had a lot of potential. Like I was really hoping that universe. Like I felt like it got them started on a good foot, and then
Oh yeah, it was a great first start type of
It
thing, especially
it
after
veered
how
off.
abysmal I thought of the movies before it were, because they were all New 52 related.
Yeah.
And I love the way it ends with the parasite thing, but it's clear that I remember them claiming it's like, no, we weren't inspired by Max Landis's American Alien. And we're like, this is fucking American
Oh
Alien.
yeah,
Like,
bullshit. You
what are
weren't.
you talking about? Like, he's wearing the same outfit and he's fighting Lobo and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. I
Like,
was about to say, like,
what?
doesn't Lobo show up in that too? Like,
Yeah, he shows up at the end of it because it's supposed to be. Because this is the thing I will always give American Alien credit for, is it actually is a pretty good set of stories, because Max Landis's idea is like these are all pivotal moments in Superman's life. Like the idea of him like deciding he's gonna be like a good like Superman, but not just wear black type of thing, as well as finding out he's an alien, that so forth and so forth. Whereas the last story is like when Superman basically makes himself known not just as a hero of Metropolis, but as a hero of the world by defeating Lobo. I'm like, that's a fun idea, but it's also Max Landis.
oh yeah, yeah. American Alien is it's a great story, or I guess it's like a great collection of stories. They're all kind of each issue is very standalone, has kind of a different artist and a different vibe to it. But
And one of the issues is hilarious, which is the one where he crashes in a plane and ends up on a yacht that's supposed to be Bruce's, and everybody thinks he's Bruce Wayne
yeah,
because nobody knows what Bruce Wayne looks like basically, because they just all they do is party on his boat.
and even that, it was kind of like, oh, the first time Clark got drunk, even though like he wasn't drunk, he was just poisoned with what
Yeah.
what should have what an assassination attempt against Bruce Wayne that would have killed Bruce Wayne, but instead, oh, Clark Kent gets that poison and he's just going to be loopy for a night. But
I also love that he meets Oliver Queen during that scene. It's a very fucking insane. It's a very insane series of stories, and the outfit for Superman is very, very interesting in that book. If you guys have never read American Alien, look at the outfit Superman wears in the last issue as his actual Superman outfit. It's like a spray painted set of like pads or something. It's really weird looking.
yeah, it's like the Captain America Civil War Spider-Man costume, but for
Yeah.
Superman.
It's very interesting to look at, as especially since it's supposed to be his actual Superman outfit at that point, and you're just like, well, that's weird to look at, but sure, I guess. But I don't know. I'm happy that we talked about this movie again. As we mentioned, this movie is a lot better than I remember it being, or not. Sorry, the movie's a lot better than I remember it being, and the story is a lot better than I remember
Yeah.
it being.
Yeah, I agree. There are like sometimes like I like the movie more. Like I like the big fight at the end. I kind of like most of the narrations. Like I miss most of, like the internal monologue and the captions. But like some of them, I'm like I'm glad I don't have like Clark being an asshole yelling at Diana in this part of the movie. So I
Yeah, trying to choke out Artemis, that sort of thing. You're just like,
but I enjoyed both of them, despite the things that I disliked. So
yeah, I would keep some from one side and keep one from the other. And
Yeah.
if I fuse them together, I would think I would have a very, very great story. And
Yeah, I agree.
Also, maybe update some of some outfits, but that's more because of the
Yes.
2000s era type of thing. But yeah,
I also like they never actually say how old Kara is. So like, well, maybe she's actually like more of an adult than a kid, but.
I feel like that wasn't really established until after Jeph Loeb did his own specific story.
But I guess we'll be back soon with some more either Lobo or Supergirl to talk about. Yeah, I guess we're done for now. But very excited for the movie coming out in 3 weeks. We will have live action Kara Zor-El on the big screen for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, so excited.
So looking forward to that and looking forward to talking about that. But until that, as always, keep it super, y'all.